Hello and welcome to our channel. I'm very pleased to introduce my good friend Penny Mallory as our guest expert today. So Penny is one of the UK's top motivational speakers, and she's also an expert in mental toughness. And I promise you, Penny got mental toughness in spades herself. She brings a lot of experience from being the only female who's ever raced successfully in the world rally cars. She's on top of that. She's climbed two of the highest mountains in the world. She's competed as a boxer and she runs marathons. So great to have you here, Penny.
Thank you, Jan. Very nice to be here.
Excellent, excellent. And so let's start out with something simple. What is it that makes mentally tough people thrive?
Well, I think it's important, first of all, to understand what mental toughness is, because different people have different definitions. The academics would tell you that mental toughness is your ability to manage the stress, the pressure, the challenge, and crisis that are happening all around us all of the time. It's not an aggressive or macho notion. People think it sounds really mental toughness. It's a tough thing. Actually, some of the quietest people I've ever met are incredibly mentally tough. Really, I think it's about the mentally tough thrive because they can take stuff in their stride. They can bounce back from setbacks. They have generally better outcomes because their approach is more committed and more focused than somebody who is mentally sensitive, who's the other end of the spectrum. So it's really about resilience, it's about confidence, commitment. It's about being able to pick yourself up and go again because you want to, not because you have to.
Okay, because you want to.
They say the difference. Resilience could be a component of mental toughness.
Yeah.
People are always saying, what's the difference between resilience and mental toughness? And again, the academics will say, and there's fine lines between all of this, but resilience might be something you fight your way through and you get through it and you pick yourself up and you do it because you have to. Mental toughness, you could argue, is you pick yourself up and you go again because you want to, because you're excited about the prospect of making it happen, of getting the other side of it, of fulfilling the goal. So it's more about an energy and excitement about doing it rather than sort of under pressure because you have to.
Excellent. And so as leaders, I can certainly imagine they need to be mentally tough, but they also have teams. So what makes it important to help the team become mentally tough?
Well, I think, again, it's interesting. The other end of the spectrum to mentally tough is mentally sensitive. Now, mentally sensitive people might be very empathetic, very caring, good shoulder to cry on, but they might actually not cope with stress very well. They might crack and break down and be at risk of mental health issues. So an organization on a good day would have a good balance of mentally sensitive and mentally tough, because mentally sensitive tend to be more creative, more innovative, and mentally tough. So if you've got that nice balance, it works. Right now, a lot of people are saying that they think, and we won't know this for a while until we reassess people, but mentally sensitive people are getting more mentally sensitive. Mentally tough people are getting more mentally tough. So there's a polarity happening here. It's getting more diverse. So a great organization will have a mixture of both, but I think right now it's incredibly costly to an organization if their people are crumbling under the pressure, falling to bits, they can't hack it. Costly in terms of financially, but also in absence and presenteeism as well. You're there, but you're not there because you're not coping. Yeah. So incredibly important for leaders to understand that mental toughness is fundamentally the key to getting through this weird, diabolical situation we're in.
So how do you know whether we, as an individual, we're mentally tough or sensitive? And how do we know whether teams are as well?
It's a great question. And I've got the best answer of all. I'm so excited. Because you can take, weirdly, can you believe this? You can take an assessment online to actually assess somebody's mental toughness. And mental toughness is broken down into 4 areas. So it'll test you on your confidence. How confident do you feel in your ability to get stuff done? And how confident are you dealing with other people and influencing other people and speaking up? A lot of people are too scared to ask questions in meetings. Mentally tough people aren't scared to ask questions. They just want the answers. Yeah. Mentally tough people will see a challenge as an opportunity, not a threat. mentally sensitive will probably just fold and run away. There's commitment. How committed are you? You set a goal, but will you actually see it through? So mentally tough people really, really enjoy completing a goal and getting there. And then there's how much control you feel you have over your life. And this is one right now where people are probably feeling pretty low on this score. So I can assess people with an online assessment in all those different areas. Interestingly, what you think about yourself, maybe you think your confidence is low, but actually the report that this assessment will give you says quite a different story. And there's 40,000 different outcomes from this report. So it's amazing algorithm behind it. It's taken 30 years to develop it. But that's the answer, is that you actually assess your mental toughness. The report shows you the areas that you need to develop, and everybody can develop mental toughness. And so you work with a coach, someone like myself, or you know all these guys, but just so exciting, because you can retest somebody in 3 months, 6 months, a year to see actually, have you developed your mental toughness?
So it's actually quite a bit different from personality profiles, which we generally say they are relatively static, but you can try and work with the weaknesses. This is actually a development.
I don't like psychometric tests, Jan. I've never have. And this is a psychometric test, but it's not this is what you are. This is what you are today. This is how you might be responding to a situation in a moment of time. But every single thing is up for grabs. It's all up for development, and it's all up for changing. And that's what I find so exciting about it.
So is it also then that in this current environment that you actually see different scores than you would have seen with the same people a year ago?
Yes, and interestingly, there's a guy that works, a very, very senior guy, really high performer in a corporate organization. He's normally very mentally tough. He's recently taken an assessment, and suddenly some of his scores have absolutely plummeted because he's been taken out of his environment. He's working from home. All his amazing team that were around him have gone, and he's really struggling. And this is a guy you wouldn't ordinarily expect to be slipping down towards the mentally sensitive end of things. And it's just simply because we've all just been sort of plumped in this weird position that we're not used to. And, we're sometimes, some of us are understanding that the team we had around us is absolutely fundamental to us performing. So some really interesting results coming out, but it's going to take some time, of course, to test people. But that was just one interesting one that you wouldn't have expected to have seen.
Yeah, that also means, and I was thinking that through, that even though you think you know your team, when suddenly they're remote, they're far away from you, you almost need to relearn. So how are they responding in this environment now? How mentally ready, alert, sensitive?
Yes, and how much you rely on them. You might be unaware that actually, without these amazing guys around you, you're not quite good at handling stuff on your own.
No.
And I think a lot of people will be experiencing that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what, sort of at the end here, what key tips would you want to leave with the viewers, particularly if they want to sort of stay mentally tough or build the mentally toughness?
I think right now is just a quagmire of emotions and feelings, and nobody knows what's going to happen. So just think about it. Almost everything will work again when you unplug it for a bit. And I think it's the same with us. I think that's like the first thing. No Olympian has trained all day long, every day, going flat out. Everyone needs a break. Everyone needs a rest. So I think really critical. Step back from what it is that's creating stress, anxiety for you, and really unpick it. What is it you're actually scared about? What is you worrying about? What is the actual problem? And really just take a much bigger perspective on it. And I think, well, I'm talking from my own personal experience. I've been running 5 miles a day, every day in the Cotswolds. I probably run 100 and nearly 200 miles probably since lockdown. It is just the best form of stress relief, of clearing your head. So physical exercise, you can't beat it. And if you're not up for that, some kind of yoga or meditation, I think is really underrated. I wasn't sure it was my bag, but I've discovered that it absolutely is. So, okay. Surprise, surprise. Just look. I think really looking after yourself is fundamental right now.
Okay. Because I remember also you told a lot about goals around mental toughness. It's important to have goals. I was wondering how much people should set goals now or not?
Well, and then this is difficult. I think there's different types of goals. There's now goals and there's future goals, because nobody knows what the future is, what it looks like, and how and when it's going to change and in what form. So I think the people that I'm talking to are very much in the moment now, trying to just get through today, tomorrow, this week.
Yeah.
At the same time, trying to plan for something sort of unplannable, because nobody quite knows where we're going with this. So that's a really difficult dilemma for people. So, and I think because it's such a tricky dilemma and nobody has the answers, it's so important to just step back, take a bit of time out, unplug yourself, give yourself a break, and then go again.
Oh, that's funny. That's such a link back to Michael Anderson's research into what makes them succeed. And that is sometimes give yourself a break. You don't need to have all the answers at all times. It's impossible.
Of course. And nobody's ever achieved anything on their own, by the way. So, understanding to keep talking, keep communicating with everybody. There's so much support out there. Never been aware of so many people offering so much. Now's the time to say, yes, please, I'll take some of that. And there's no shame. This is all about building mental toughness and building resilience and confidence and focus and determination. And in order to do that, you have to lean on other people.
Excellent. That's great. Thanks, Penny. Where can they go if they want to learn more about your test and learn more about what you suggest around mental toughness?
Okay, well, it's not a test, it's an assessment. That's important. I know, it's an easy mistake. pennymallory.co.uk. Email me, get in touch with me. I'll be absolutely delighted to help.
Excellent. Well, I'll leave your details under the video so people can get in contact with you.
Thank you.
And if anybody has any questions, they can also just post them, and I'll make sure Penny can get back to you via me somehow. If you like the video, give me a like and remember to subscribe. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Penny.
Thanks, Ian. Bye.
Bye-bye.